This is the file WB2.1. What we have in here is information from multiple regions that show the amount spent, and is really a long sample. It has 400 records. And what it shows is the amount spent by gender and by region. So we're going to use the stat tools to generate, to analyze the information and come up with some measures of central tendency, skewness, as well as variability. So we'll first run stat tools. So we double click on the application in order to include the menu, the plugin menu into Excel. So now we have the stat tools menu loaded. We will define initially the data set we're going to be working with. So we use the function here to our left, and it automatically asks us if we want to include the entire set into it. So here is the data set created. We can change the name of it if we want. This is the default name. I'm going to leave it that way. And includes the entire set of information from A1 to D401, considering the fact that the first row contains the titles or the headers for each one of the dataset columns. So once we do that, the dataset has been created, and we can use that dataset to in a number of different functions over here. So the descriptive part falls under summary statistics, and that's really what it is. We're going to look at one variable summary, and immediately loads the data set and gives us that option. If we had more than one data set created, those will be on this drop-down menu. Okay. This set of data is stacked simply because we have the different regions piled up in, is not classified, so it's not unstacked, it's stacked. And now we can choose what we want to do. So sale is not really a variable, it's just the number of the sample. So if we want to look at the amount spent, which is the value, by region, region becomes the category. So what we want to create is a set of data that separates the amount spent by region. So we will have an unstacked version of the data. And here we can choose what we want to look at. So what is what we want to measure? So we can look at the average or the mean, the variance, the standard deviation, the skewness, the kurtosis, the median, the mean absolute deviation, the mode, the minimum, the maximum, the range, the count, the sum, and the different percentiles. So the first quartile, third quartile, interquartile range, and we can also select a number of other percentiles. So we can simplify this by eliminating some of the metrics that we may not necessarily be interested in looking into, and hit OK. So automatically we have a new file open that shows the responses. So we have now the mean for the data set number 1, and is showing this by region. So this is the Midwest, this is the Northeast, this is the South, and this is the West. So we can see what the averages are. We can also see the variances. We can see the standard deviations. They're different for the 4 regions. We can see the skewness of the distribution, which is also different, and so on. So your job now is to interpret the data here and draw some conclusions that you can use for your article.